Well, I see Naomi Kaufman. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay, apps for you, Discover. No. All right, let's see. You can now send nonverbal feedback. Slow down. And okay. Thanks for that.
Like yesterday, she was able to go to a card game because she knew that they both had cell phones. If anything happened, he could reach her quickly.
Mhm. Yeah. Now he's an adult, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got two friends, kind of a similar situation. Her son has a lot of issues, and is in a wheelchair, and I don't know exactly what it is.
MS?
It could be, but you know, he's, well, he doesn't speak well. He understands a lot, but he has a speech.
MS could definitely be it.
Yeah, but this is something I think he was born with. I don't think he ever really developed, all of the cognitive skills and things of an adult. But they're both potters. They met, and started dating, and then my friend Jack ended up marrying her, and now they live up in Elgin. But one of the big struggles that they had was she was living in Atlanta, had a house, and she was primarily, she had people coming in to take care of her son. But it was finding a program to transition into, like an independent, where he could live independent, with in a group home or whatever.
Mhm.
And they went through a lot of different iterations of that to try to find.
That's what Phyllis had, and it wasn't working now. When they sent him to visit her,
Mhm.
and he had COVID,
Mhm.
so she got COVID.
And they were not aware that he had COVID?
Yes, they were. That's
And
why
would
they sent him.
Well, why would they send him if obviously the thing to do, isolate.
They didn't choose to take care of him.
Hello, how you doing?
And knew that she would.
It's kind of hard. Can you put your drawing somewhere so somebody can actually?
Yeah.
Oh. I think you're sitting there, right?
Might as well.
Okay. Sounds good. So how do you know? Yeah. Okay.
Glad to be back.
Yeah. I know it's weird, isn't it?
It is very weird.
It's been kind of a while.
Yes.
Well.
How was Mexico?
I didn't go to Mexico. That was the one of the two directions for money. And where I ended up heading was actually to Washington, D.C. and spending time with my dog. Yeah. We got to paint some trees up there and kind of mill around that part of the country for a while. And I got a whole bunch of furniture moved from Atlanta, and it's now sitting in my house in Valley. So I got a lot of things done. It was nice. And it was nice having the time off. Hey, Bob.
Good morning. Good
How you
morning.
doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good, okay.
That was a very nice compliment that you paid me the other day on my piece of work there. Thank you.
Well, it was, you did a really good job on that painting. I mean, you really did, kind of capture the place and the time, which is, hey, oftentimes not that easy. So,
Right?
yeah, you did a great job with that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So we're waiting for a few people to get here. In the meantime, yeah, you want to get a board. You want to get a piece of content, and those gray things over there, those are kneaded erasers. Those are new. That's what they look like new now. And so they're a little bit softer, and you guys should be able to erase something with it. Got rid of all the old ones. So.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
We don't need a brush.
Yeah,
You
you do.
You do?
You might want to measure something.
Okay.
Just it's easier to measure with that brush than it is with that little piece of content.
Yeah.
So. We're gonna get rocking and rolling here in just a minute. I noticed that you have a sketchbook, which is good. Did you bring a sketchbook today? Okay. Yeah, you need to bring those, okay, because you're gonna use it. We're gonna go back, and for most of you, this is gonna be like, yeah, we've talked about that before, but it's good to review, okay? Because we're gonna talk about all the different elements of drawing. Okay. Hey, how you doing, Rebecca?
Glad to be alive.
Yeah,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Being on the right side of the grass is always good.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So you don't have to wear these anymore, huh?
Not in here.
Good.
I mean, it's your choice. I'm,
But once you head out, they want you to.
yes,
okay.
yeah, when you're out milling around the building.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Hey, Naomi. Hey, John. Bob.
Oh,
yep. All right. Let's. Yeah, I think so. Yes, it is, right on the dot. Okay, all right. So good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing okay. Just a little bit nippy outside, not too bad. So we're gonna go over all the basics, okay? So, very first thing. Hey, Carrie, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Good.
Grab a board, get a piece of contact.
1, 2.
Yeah. All right. So can anybody tell me, all right, drawing, okay. What's the basic, elements of drawing? What can you use to draw?
Is it perspective one of them?
Yeah, that's a little bit further than we need to go. Yeah,
Oh,
more simple.
Line.
You mean like a pen? These?
Well, okay, she said one of them, line, right? So when you're drawing, you can make lines. What else can you make?
or
Hey,
Well, okay, now you said form, again, that's a little further down the line. Okay, but,
shade,
or tone,
tone.
right? And let's get this cleared up, okay? Because people, when they're talking about drawing in particular, a lot of people use that term, line and tone, right? And I do it myself, okay? So I'm guilty of this. But the fact is, It's not tone, okay? It's actually line and value, okay? So, and what is value? What is it?
It's different shades, dark to light.
Yeah, but it's not shades. What it is, okay, it's how light or how dark something.
But you got it?
And you can divide that
It's Friday, 10 o'clock.
as many different, blocks as you want. So you could take black over here, white over here, and you could divide it into a scale of 5, right? So you got a mid-tone, and then you got a middle dark and a middle light, right? And that's one of the simplest ways of doing it, right? Even simpler than that, though, is white, a middle tone gray, and black, right? Okay, so you can reduce it or you can expand it as much as you want. And you can literally have an infinite amount of value, okay? All this subtlety in there, right? And the more that you try to render something in a realistic fashion, the wider range of value you're going to have. Because the fact is, any kind of form is going to have a variety of values. And it, most of the time you can pull it off pretty successfully with just 10. Okay. You don't really need to go much further than that, but you can. Okay. You can drive yourself absolutely crazy with it. So there's line, there's value. What else? Anybody think of anything else?
Dimension?
Perspective,
Well, yeah,
shape.
yeah, those are all illusions, of distance and form, right? But the fact is, you're still working on a two-dimensional piece of paper, right? So you really can't create
Okay.
distance and form. You can only create the illusion of it, right?
Uh,
But what else? Okay, so you got line, you got value. Anybody, come on, think.
Tone.
How about textures? Okay, textures, right? So you can create, and textures and patterns are kind of the same thing, right? A pattern could be something that's just repetitive, right? A texture could be a little more random. Okay, but textures, patterns, right? Anything to, again, give the illusion, that you're kind of creating a particular type of surface, like wood, or if you're drawing paper, or, something that's hard, some kind of like, like that plaster, form up there on the shelf, right? And so with the use of line and value and texture, you can pretty much so create the illusion that you're, of drawing a person, a thing, a place, including landscapes, things like that. And also the illusion of space, right? So form and space, right? And what's the difference between form and space? Anybody got any ideas about that?
The space isn't as solid as form.
Yeah, a form talks about a shape, right? Like we're talking about this roll of paper towels, right? And what kind of form would this be?
Cylinder.
Yeah, it's a cylinder. Okay, yeah. It's a round object, right? And, but it's got a flat top and a flat bottom, right? So it's kind of like, a segment of a pole or a stick or something like that, right? But, okay, cylinder, right? How about somewhere around here? And I don't know quite where it got off to. Hey, Jim. A ball, okay? What's a ball? It's a sphere, right? Okay. And again, that's a form, right? So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna work on with the use of first line. And then after that, value. We're going to try to draw some pretty simple shapes, right? So cylinders, cones, right? Cubes. And I've got a few of those to work with. Now, here's the thing. I want you to take your piece of paper and I want you to divide it in half, okay? On one side, you're going to draw this form only in line, okay? On the other
Only
side,
in what?
on the other side, you're going to
What was that? Only in something?
only in line, okay?
Okay.
On the other side, okay, we're gonna draw the same thing, but we're gonna do it only in value, no outlines, just in value, okay? Everybody ready for that? We're gonna do a few of these, okay? I'm gonna give you about, give you about 5 minutes for each of them, so you'll have 10 minutes for both sides, okay? And if you finish up the line early, you can just go on and do the cone, right? That makes sense? You look confused. Okay.
Charles, you had a wonderful image on the screen a few minutes ago of a lady's face, just with the eyes and the mouth. Can you tell us about that, please?
Well, that's Naomi. That's her, I guess, yeah. You mean this one right here?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Naomi Kaufman. How you doing?
Naomi's face or Naomi did that sketch?
No, well, that's a photograph that she's reduced to just black and white.
Is it true? Naomi drew it?
No, it wasn't a drawing. It's something that she took into like Photoshop or something and just took away all the gray tones, right? Leaving the black and white.
There are artists that do that. They can capture Frank Sinatra and turn it into somebody
Right.
just with the eyes and the mouth. I think that's extremely talented.
Okay, well, it's actually a mechanical process. It's,
Well,
and it works. It's fine. Yeah. All
That
right,
would be
so,
nice done in ink.
okay, let's see. All right, so screen share, come back here. All right, and then that's what we want to share, okay? And it's hiding back over here. All right, now, all right. All right. Let's see. I'll try to make this bigger. Okay, so again, I'm going to give you 10 minutes, okay? Very first thing I want you to do, draw it in line only, no shading, right? No value. On the other side, I want you to draw it in value, no outlines, okay? I know you're all looking at me like, where is he making us do this? There is a point. All right, yeah, you want.
Thank you.
So one in line, one in tow. We'll try not to put anybody to sleep with the music, okay? All right. Everybody out there, can you see clearly the image that I've got up there?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just checking. Yeah. You never know with this TV. Is anybody's teeth chattering in here? Is everybody fairly comfortable? Okay. So we don't need to turn on the heat or anything like that. Okay, now keep in mind, okay, while you're drawing this, okay, what the proportions are, you know, what's the length of the side versus the width of the end of it, okay? And that's where that brush may come in, and you may need to actually measure. Right? So you go, huh? Well, you're close, okay? But really look at, see how these connect? Okay. Now you're doing one in line, one in contact. So that top line, see, it's not gonna be real dark, but see, it's got to intersect with the top edge of this. Start to move it around. The point is this one fairly light, right? Let's get to the other side. We want to get to. See, the value changes. And even though you're using line, you can still tell somebody there's a darker value. Right? It should be, yeah, they're pretty close. Well, they are, they're still the same. Okay. See, no outline. Okay. So wait a second. Yes. To not do the outline. Okay.
Oh, no.
It's just do it in and out. Okay. Yeah, and in the first drawing, all it's supposed to be is line. Okay, you're not adding any tone to it.
Can go up a little bit.
Yeah, you can raise it. Yeah, there's,
Just do this.
yeah,
That part of the two screw.
yeah. Loosen this up.
Yeah, I did it.
And then you gotta reach up here, hold the pen. Right there. No, not that. Okay, there you go. Okay, done.
Keep drawing.
I do. Yeah. You draw.
Oh, I have.
Okay. start today. This is the
I
beginning.
did get Chinese birthday, but that's not the same year.
No, not quite.
No, not quite. Eastern is pretty crazy.
A little bit. But it's, yeah, kind of the way they look at it, it's stylized. Which we do as well. So what I'm having to do today is we're running out,
Yeah.
but we're going to do it as an outline only. And then we're going to do it again as value,
That's what,
value,
oh, value,
yeah, like you are,
like that.
with no outline,
You know what?
with no outline. You'll see with line, what you, the kind of line you make, even though you use line, you can still express whether there's light or shadow there. Because it's more light anyway. Yeah, it's a little more representative of what's up there. Wind change, even the quality of the line. Oh, teaching part of, here about 15 years. Yeah, and then, you know, I'm officially a dinosaur. Yes, when I started off, when I was younger, I wasn't quite the demographic. Now I am the demographic.
I know, and keep thinking, oh, that's way down the road. And it's like the yellow. They're down in that portion of the road.
Most definitely.
So you can get it in dinner and
Not really. Yeah, we don't really break it down, stuff like that. We throw everybody in together. And, you know, because whether you've been doing this forever or whether you've been doing it, you know, for today. Yeah, but this is a wigglier and more expressive line. Well, look at some, you know, look at Project Leon, and look at like the concept, you know. I mean, their lines were not always precise. They went all over the place, kind of loose. You know, and if you, let's say you want to draw, let's say that you were painting, well, okay, as an impressionist, would it matter? You had a lot of other painting styles, you know, you had a very loose painting style. Okay. Yeah, well, your name, and
Your name?
Charles.
Charles. Hey, Charles.
Okay,
Pleased to meet you.
you as well. All right, everybody have fun with that? Okay. Did that seem terribly difficult?
No.
No. Well, let's talk about that. Okay.
That's probably the wrong answer.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of deceptive. It should not be so terribly hard, but sometimes it is, because You don't think about all those little nuances, do you? Okay, so. Put that there. All right. So I'll show you. That's kind of what I did. Okay, now. Most of you will probably get down the tone part, okay? Where most of you will have trouble, and I'll show you guys too. Here. Oop, there we go. Found you. Okay, stop share. Okay. All right. So there's kind of what I did. Everybody see that?
Yeah,
No?
I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mine looks a little like that.
Huh?
Mine looks a little similar to that.
A little bit similar to that? Okay, if it's similar. Okay, so here's the thing about line. Okay, and here's why most of you will kind of mess up on the line. Because you'll make your lines kind of all the same, right? And the fact is, you're looking at a three-dimensional object, and you're trying to not only express the shape and the proportion of it, you also have to think about the light and what the light is doing on that object, right? So obviously, okay, when we go back and we look at the object itself, all of this side, was in shadow, right? All of the backside that we couldn't see was in light. Certainly the top of it that was pointing toward us was pretty much so that whole plane was in full light, wasn't it? Okay. So does it make sense to have the same kind of line here as you do down here at the bottom where it's making contact, right? So if you're going to draw in line, that's all of you, okay? You're going to have to learn how to use a variety of different types of line to express what you're saying, right? Okay, you can't use, this same kind of graphic, outline and have any expectation that it's going to describe anything about the form or the light, okay? Now you can use line, and you can, in fact, with a great deal of thought and observation, express the idea that this is not necessarily just a flat shape, that it does actually have dimension to it, right? Or that there is light actually hitting some part of it and maybe not another, right? Another part's in shadow. It's much easier with tone, isn't it? Okay, or value. See? Because in a way, those changing values, what are they describing? They're describing
dimension.
they're describing how the light is reacting on a three-dimensional form, right? And like in this particular case with this cylinder, okay, it wasn't as dark at the top as it was at the bottom, was it? Right? And why? Well, you only had a single light source. It was coming in, basically from above it, okay, and slightly behind it, which is why the shadow was being cast in the direction it was. But as the light hit part of that cylinder and it moved around, the light began to fall off, and it began to fall off into a deeper and deeper shadow, didn't it? Okay. And now try to grasp this idea, okay? Because we're going to start talking about things called planes, right? Everybody loves those. And a plane is just nothing but a flat surface, right? So if you took this cylinder and you broke it up into 6 planes, right? You wouldn't really have a cylinder anymore. You would have kind of a rectangle, wouldn't you, or a cube, right? All right. So it really wouldn't look like a cylinder. But let's say that you broke that cylinder up into, say, 30 planes. now moving around, right? So the planes were thinner and smaller. It would look more like a cylinder, wouldn't it? Okay. Still had a lot of like real clean, definite breaks, right? And changing in value because each of those planes, because the orientation to the light would change value, wouldn't it? You know, no two would really be the same. If it were 100 or 50, see, then it would really kind of make this nice smooth gradation. And that's really, in fact, what we're seeing. Is we're seeing this continuous, you know, they're very small planes moving around an object. Okay. Now, the same thing happens whether you're drawing a face or whether you're drawing an arm or an apple or an egg, right? Okay. And objects like eggs are really tough. And you know why? Because you've got this curved surface, right? But it's curved in every direction away from, you know, that point that you're looking at. See, it's never a flat surface anywhere on it. It's a continuous curve in all directions. Same thing is true with the sphere, right? So to really be able to capture that, you got to be, one, really observant and pretty sensitive about the change in value. Really what you're looking at is almost an infinite number of planes as it moves around that object. Somebody's giving me a Google. Huh. You are Rebecca?
Yes, I'm trying to get back to the full screen. It's
Okay,
just-
well, yeah,
it-
what you're
it was
doing,
interrupted. It was
what you're-
interrupted. I think
well, here,
I think
hang
I-
on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what you're doing is you're sharing your screen with us.
I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
I know, so,
Oh, here, let me do
yeah,
that.
just stop sharing.
I did.
yeah.
I
Thank
figured it
you.
out. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I lost the view, but I heard the words.
Right,
And then it reconnected and I hit the wrong button. I apologize.
no, you're fine. Yeah, no, you just started sharing your screen with us. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, it's nice that we can do that. Okay, we can all share things together. All right. All right, so, all right, everybody kind of get that? All right. All right, so you got a line, and if you're going to use line as one of your main, you know, bag of tricks in drawing, then you got to pay attention to what's happening with the light and how many planes you're trying to describe, right? You know, in a cylinder or in an egg, they're almost infinite, right? Because you can break that down into as many planes as you want moving around it, you know? If it's a more simplified form, like a cube, it's a little bit easier, okay? So, whoop, I don't want to do that. We're not ready to end this meeting yet. All right, so let's see, share. All right, so we did a cylinder. There. All right, so let's try. Stop. I don't care. I just, you know. All right, everybody see that cube? All right. Guess what? We're going to do the same thing. Okay. I want you to draw that cube as a line only. I want you to draw the cube as value only. Okay. Make sense? All right, let's get going. You got 10 minutes. Where are the line, where's the shadow? Are both sides of those cubes, or all four sides, are they equally dark? You don't know how to do what? Mhm.
Go that way, doesn't matter.
No, it's more of a valve.
Okay.
And since, I mean, what you're seeing up there, the light side of that is not exactly white. But the only reason it looks white is because it's got two darker settings. So the surface that it's sitting on and it's in the background. See, they both have a valve. And that makes the other two guys look like. Okay. Everybody have fun with that? Was that easier?
Yes,
Yes, no, maybe?
I think it was easier.
You think it was easier? So let's see. All right. Anybody get anything beginning to look like that? Now, one thing that you have to kind of take into consideration, okay, is not just the object itself, okay? A lot of times it's the environment, things that are around it that will help you make it show up. Like, for example, notice how light that looks? Well, that would not look that light if I had not put a value here in the background and on the surface that we're sitting on. Okay, let me show you guys. Finding my way around here still. Okay. All right. Can you kind of see how I put a tone in the background?
Yes,
And then that made that light side of that cube look really light, right?
Right.
Without it, it wouldn't look very bright. Okay. So again, it's all about values, really looking at not only the value that is on the object, but the values that are around it. Okay? Because obviously they have some effect on how you see that form, right? Okay. Like for example, okay, let's say that you're drawing a figure and you're drawing a woman's hair, and she has this dark colored hair and the background behind her is very light, right? Then that hair is going to show up really easily. You're going to be able to see that shape. What happens when that background becomes dark? See, then you lose the outline, you lose the shape, right? Because the dark value of the hair will fall back into the background, right? Okay, could be a useful tool. Keep that in mind. Okay, all right. Everybody think they have this concept down? Okay, so you got line and you got value, right? Now we haven't played with texture yet. Okay, we'll get there. All right. So now we're going to do some drawing. And what I want you to do is I want you to combine the two, line and value together. Okay. So it's not just a lineal drawing. It's not just a tonal drawing. You're using both. Okay. Now, let me get your brain to thinking here a little bit, okay? So as you're drawing the object that you're drawing, you have to, first of all, look at what it is and what you see. And the question is, do you see a definite edge? If you see a definite edge, use a line and make it the appropriate value, okay? Let's say that you don't. Let's say it looks very soft and one thing kind of blurs into another. Use a value, a change in value, right? Don't use a line if you don't see one, right? Okay. Everybody ready for this one? You guys are so talkative today. You're very quiet. Bob, I think you're muted. Okay, so let's go back.
No, I'm not that well.
You're not ready?
No, I had a phone call coming in.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't want to disturb the.
Oh, everybody.
The rest of us are deep in concentration.
That's right.
Well, that's good because you need to concentrate. All right.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
We get an hour on this one?
I'm gonna give you 25 minutes.
Ooh, whippy.
Okay, but look, it's only one drawing. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So you got 25 minutes, line and value
And texture.
combined. Okay,
What a guy.
not separate.
The leaves too.
Yeah, you can. Do as much as you can in 25 minutes. But really look at it and figure out, do I need to use an outline? Do I see a definite edge? Or do I need to use a value? And like I said, you got a whole 25 minutes to do this. Should be like no problem, right?
What a guy. What a guy.
Now, if you want to start off by putting a tone on your paper. You could. And we have these paper towels up here. And you could put a tone down on your paper and then rub it back. Anybody want a paper towel?
Already started.
Okay. you took the-
Everybody having fun yet? I guess my recommendation is coming to this class, make sure you have your coffee. And that you're awake before you get here. It's gonna be a bit of a challenge. It's not gonna make it. Yeah, kind of think about it. Which I know on Friday morning. It's good for your brain. If you think there's a second flower down there, you'd be right.
There is one, we didn't mind.
Yeah, it's the one that's lower, and it's, yeah, that's kind of what you're seeing through the leaves, is that second flower.
too. This year, I voted here too early birthday. It's very different. Having vote, listen to TV commentaries. It's very good. I think it's easier to listen to them now. I voted, got it off.
I wish they'd spend like a long one, maybe or something like that. Simple. You know. They're just gonna put some millions of dollars in stupidity.
They are.
Heard a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably,
There's one in the background.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, up there.
Yeah, I think that's Bob's dog.
Okay.
What am I doing now?
Even with the payment, student loan.
I think it's wonderful, it's my son's
Oh,
I don't know if he'll get it or not, but it would be nice if he could. It's probably gonna come up for
Did I give you guys too much time on this?
yeah,
I did.
yes,
Yes.
No,
yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
One no and at least two yeses.
I guess I must be slow.
Well, we'll be interested in seeing yours.
And I'll be interested in seeing yours. See if you got any, like three-dimensional form in there. No, I have to admit to you, flowers, for me, are different.
Yes. There you go.
But there are people who do flowers. Don't seem to struggle with them. It's not nice. There we go. All right. So I just, all right. So everybody had fun with that. Huh? Let's see what you did. Come on. Put them up here. And put your name on them too, okay? That way we know who did what. I don't have to read mine.
Okay.
My
This is amazing.
telepathy isn't working today. So. Here, let's just set it up that way. That way it just kind of hangs. Here you go.
Okay.
Here, set it right here, and I'll go to the next. All right, Linda, come on. Here.
Not seeing anything. Road.
Pardon?
All we can see is the road.
I know, yeah. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to show them to you. We're not leaving you guys out. What, you think I'm going to forget you guys?
Maybe
No, that ain't going to happen.
that happens as we get older.
Yeah. Give me Barbara G. That way I know this. Okay. So line and tone. Like a whole nother world, isn't it? When you start putting the two of them together. All right. So that's
Wow.
from Linda. That's from Linda Lim. Here, let me turn off the music. All right. So, as I was saying, that's Linda Lim. Okay.
Very nice. Very
Very
nice.
nice.
Linda.
Yeah, and it is. It's a nice piece. She's got, you know, a pretty good range of value. Pardon me. Pretty good range of value in here. You know, now she's pushed some of the darks, you know, a little bit to the dark side. Okay, but it works in the drawing. Okay. And you get a sense of the form and the, you know, different petals and things wrapping around it, you know, pretty well. So, yeah. Now, one thing, okay, if these were softer, see, then this would come forward more, okay? So it's, you know, some of these, you know, the weight of your strokes and stuff, you know, you got to think about what value that's going to be and whether it's going to be hard or soft, right? And can I play with your drawing just for a second? See if we just took this. And soften those edges. You see how they go back? See? And now this comes forward, right? Okay. So keep that in mind, okay? That change in value and how sharp or how soft that line is really will make, you know, a big difference, you know, in the appearance of your drawing and whether or not you actually are successful at, you know, creating depth and space, you know, in the drawing. Okay. All right. Now this is Barbara. Okay. This is Barbara Baker. Yeah, about right
Okay.
there. Okay. Can you guys see that pretty clearly?
Yep.
Okay. So with Barbara's, you know, she used the side of the Conte quite a bit. And this is a very soft drawing. The lines are very delicate and she hasn't really changed the value or the weight in the line very much. It's basically just to kind of hold a shape. So really this becomes almost a more tonal drawing than it does lineal, right? you do get, just a little bit of line. Okay, but again, it's a very delicate treatment to the line. And again, it's like if you wanted to create more depth and form in there, by pushing some of those lines, particularly like here in the edges and things like that, and sharpening them, again, will kind of bring your focal point, back in here, okay, and give you a definite place to go, in the drawing, okay? Overall, your value, see, you've got a pretty good range of value in there. You could push some stronger darks here in the bottom, but again, yeah, it's a nice rendering. Now this is Linda.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, okay, Linda Webb, okay, all right. Yeah, we got two Lindas here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, and I already did her.
Mhm.
Friday brain. Anyway, okay, so this is Linda Webb. Okay. And again, in this case, in this case, it's all falling apart. But no, it's okay, let me see if I can get it up there. It's kind of more lineal than tonal. There you go. Okay. So yeah, you got some tone in there, but yeah, this still kind of relies heavily on the outline of the shapes and stuff. And the thing is, and this is one of the problems with just using line, unless you have like a wide variety of different types of lines, tends to flatten the drawing. Okay. And again, it's like, to really make that work as a lineal drawing, you really have to be very conscientious and sensitive about how light and how hard you're going to make those. And, in doing the line, if you're very conscious of it, you can vary it. If you go too far, you can always take it and just rub it back a little bit, and that soften it, okay? And again, by softening these outside edges here, again, that draws you back into, kind of the center, okay? All right, then we have Terry. Terry is a wild man. Now, Terry, okay, see, he did a flower, okay, he did the required thing. But the thing with Terry is he never stops there. He always has to go just a little bit beyond. See?
Bob was on the spoon. I thought you meant to put Bob too.
Say what now? Oh,
Bob's on the spoon.
yes. Okay. Well, actually, that's John on the screen.
Oh, sorry.
At any rate, yeah. So I guess John, he gave you a flower.
Okay,
So
thank
there
you.
you go. There you are. Not only do you have a flower background, now you're holding one. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I always stop and smell the roses.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Brock's not here. I was gonna say that actually looks a lot like Brock.
I'm in for it to be Brock.
Gotta watch this guy. Anyway, oh yeah, it's a really fun kind of lyrical drawing, and everybody has a different style and a different approach. Thank God. Otherwise we would all come out with drawings looking exactly the same, which we don't want to do, by the way, because your individual differences, you want to keep that. Okay, you don't want to draw like me, and my goal isn't to make you draw like me. It's just to give you the information so you know it, so you can make choices, right? But in looking at this, okay, really fun, kind of whimsical drawing, and it's got a lot of movement and emotion to it. And we're going to talk more as we get into drawing further in this session about the emotional content and the reaction and the feel of the drawing, really how important that is. And quite frankly, it's probably more important than the technical aspects of it.
Hmm.
Okay. Because you can have an inaccurate drawing. Take for example, an artist by the name of Egon Schiele, right? And you look at his drawings, or Kate Kalowitz, they were not anatomically correct figures, but they were emotionally powerful, And when you look at those drawings, you get this overwhelming sense of what was going on, in that scene at that time. And so that's an important factor that we will talk about. Okay. But yeah, lovely. Nice drawing. Again, because of what you're doing, the style, you don't really have to apply, a lot of the rules for trying to make three-dimensional form as much, because it is sort of more caricaturish and cartoonish. One of the things I'd like you to work on though is try to bring it, a little bit back into understanding how to turn form and how to create depth, right? And then, when you want to do the more whimsical style, you still have that, okay? So.
Has you seen George O'Keeffe Illuminarium? That might be really interesting for flower painting. I haven't seen it.
I haven't either.
It's been there for a couple of weeks.
Okay, yeah, I haven't either.
Full wall, like 40 feet tall.
Is-
Roll ups.
Where's it supposed to be? Is it supposed to be at the high?
Pullman Yards, I think.
Oh,
This
Pullman
is-
Yards.
It's
Yeah.
an illuminarium site.
Huh.
Old warehouses that have been fitted for all this.
Yeah, that would be down on the Pullman Yard is down on the west side, isn't it?
And I think it's closer to the trader. But actually two illuminariums here. One is in Ponce, right next to Ponce Market. Again, it's an old retrofitted rat house.
Okay. I have to look that
And
up.
one was an African
Mhm.
show, and the other was the guy who cut his ear off.
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
two illuminariums here.
All right. Well, I have to look that up then. Okay. So this is Betty.
What is that place for?
It's like an exhibit.
What's the name of the place?
Free to public?
I don't think it's free. I think
It's a long ways from free. It's
Yeah.
a little pricey.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
Okay.
always ask for the senior discount, and if you're a veteran, you can get a little more discount.
All right. Betty.
Miss Bay,
That bit. Okay. All right. What is your last name?
Blast.
Betty Glass. All right. All right. So this is Betty's. Betty, let me see if I can get it on the screen. Right there. Yeah, that's Betty Glass. Okay. So again, now Betty rubbed this back and she softened it. It's hard to say. There's more tone, more. It's actually kind of about 50-50. Okay. Now, one thing I want you to do, Betty, big sheet of paper. Yeah. So, yeah. What that will do is it will kind of free up your arm, a little bit. And, you can then get a little more accurate with your proportions and things like that, because you can actually see it. In a small scale drawing like that, it's really hard to do. Okay, think of it this way, and we talk about that a lot, and particularly when you're drawing figures, right? If you drew a small figure, let's say it was only as tall as the page here, right? Then the head is going to be about the size of your thumb, right? How are you going to get eyes, ears, nose, and stuff on something inside of your thumb, right? It's going to be very difficult, right? If you turn the picture this way, then that figure becomes, and so now the head's about that big. So now you may not be able to get the details, but you can at least kind of chisel in the planes and things like that, right? So drawing big helps a lot. Now there's times when you do want to draw small, let's say it's a small figure in a like complicated composition. The idea is the bigger you draw, the more information you can get. Okay, some people call that detail, but we're not, because I'm going to try to teach you guys to run away from detail as much as possible, okay? You know, as it gets smaller, see, you have to get more and more simple. It's more of what you edit out, see? And it's just what is it that I'm going to keep to tell somebody that this is a file that big, right? Or a human head, or you know, whatever that is. Okay. So one, try to draw big. Okay. Now, as far as your approach to it, okay. So you did. It seems like you know you drew a lot of shapes. Okay, and then you started adding that, and then you wrote it back, which is a good step, right? I had an eraser. Okay, and so you can use that to actually pull out line and lift. So like in these areas right here, see, you can, that eraser, we call it a kneaded eraser, but you can do interesting things with it. Like for example, if I wanted, let's say I had a little tiny area, so I can take that eraser and I can make myself a very fine point. And then see, I can go in, I can work in a very small area. If I want to lift out a very broad area, say I can take that very same eraser and I can flatten it. See, and now I have this broad edge. So I can take out a big, wide area. See, that's why we work with these. Okay. So, may I?
Sure.
Okay. See, if I was going to come in here, see, I can take now. Yeah, I will just in a second. See, and I can lift out the light on where that pedal, you know, curled over, right? See, and that way you get, you know, a wider range of value. Okay. Again, drawing bigger makes that a lot easier. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Okay, is this June?
Yes.
Yes, okay. It's hard to tell with the, a lot of flourish to the right, you know. I don't know, you know, do I like the drawing, do I like the writing? Okay, anyway, all right, so this is our old friend June. Let's see if I can back it up. There you go. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, it's a nice flower. And okay, so she's used a little of everything we talked about here. You know, she laid down a tone. See, she went back in, she pulled things, you know, areas out with the eraser. She's got some line in there, but she's also got some areas that kind of transition, you know, from an edge into a value, you know, and kept it pretty soft. Now, where she's got the highest contrast, see, right there. See? And when you look at that, you see the bottom, you see all of this, but your eye keeps going here. See, and again, you know, that's one of those things about, you know, value contrast and contrast in hard and soft edges. See, wherever that is the most in your drawing or in your painting, that's usually where your eye goes to. That becomes the focal point. Okay. There you go. Yeah, thank you. All right. Anybody want to show us your drawings? You want to hold them up?
Yeah, I'll show you mine.
Okay.
Wow.
Can you,
Thanks.
everybody, can you see
Yeah.
that?
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Yeah.
very good.
Okay.
Graphite.
Yeah, and you got a little bit of tone in there, and you've got, you know, it's mainly lineal, but you've got some nice changes in value and some strong, you know, pretty strong, very direct marks in there and stuff. Yeah, nice. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Rebecca, Bob, Susan, Veronica? Veronica, you're way too quiet today.
I can show you mine, but I did it in color.
Okay,
Wow.
Oh.
That's very nice.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty.
Everybody see that?
Uh-huh.
Or is my big head in the way? All right. So yeah, very nice job. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Veronica, you here? Veronica,
Yeah, I see it.
well, Bob went away.
I see it.
Yeah, I can see,
I see Veronica's.
I can see Veronica's.
You can?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can. I got it on.
Oh, Veronica, you gotta talk, sweetie.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Talk, keep talking.
All right.
Yeah, because as long as you make noise, see, you
Yeah, then
get
you
the
can
main
see.
screen.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right,
Still working on it.
okay,
That's good.
yeah, nice. All right, cool. All right, let's see, who have we not picked on? Well, we haven't picked on Bob, but he left.
Rebecca got hers.
Yeah, Rebecca,
Here we are.
talk, Rebecca.
Oh, sorry. I found this very challenging,
Uh-huh.
but a lot of fun, and I need a lot of practice.
Well, yes, don't we all? Okay, but yeah, that's a nice, yeah, nice movement.
Yeah.
And yours is more lineal than tonal, see?
Right.
Yes.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's definitely a more lineal approach to it. All right. Naomi, are you around? Are you talking to us? No. Okay. All right. All right. So anyway, let's see, what time is it?
11:30.
Ah, okay. Does everybody need like about maybe a 4 or 5 minute break, and then we're gonna come back, we're gonna do one more drawing.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, let's take 5 minutes, okay? And then we'll come back and we'll do a 20-minute drawing, we'll be done for today. Okay,
Okay.
all right, so, yeah. Run to the bathroom, get some water, do whatever you need to do. Okay, but yeah, be back here at 11:40.
Did everybody send you the drawings of the three women?
Not everybody,
Story.
yeah.
Can we look at someone else's? Or
We did that on Monday, we did some,
I was out of town. I've been out of
Okay.
town all week.
yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
if you wait about 2 weeks,
Okay.
it should be up on YouTube.
I'd like to see their drawings.
Yeah,
I'm-
yeah.
I'm really
And we got-
interested.
well, actually, I mean, we got some really fun stuff. Like June
Uh-huh.
did a whole like paint with the 3 figures and
Really?
everything.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
wow.
really nice.
Uh-huh.
And there were a couple of people who did some really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Came up with some pretty bizarre stories. and
Oh,
stuff.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it was fun. It was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's a good, it's a good assignment just
Uh-huh.
because it forces you to kind of deal with composition,
Mhm.
and start thinking about composition and storyline.
Right.
So,
You need to get your live class to participate in our virtual Tuesday class.
yeah, well, you mean the critique
Right.
class? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I try to encourage them. Everybody's got the links. But, I mean, different people do different things, different days, so.
Right.
So,
Oh, yeah, because we'd like to see their stuff too.
yeah, well, that's why I took the time,
And today was good today. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's fair, Yeah, you kind of want to, you want to kind of see how other people kind of approached it. And
Right.
Ah, if it was a snake, it would have bit me.
Already improved.
Yeah, by just pushing, a few darker values in there. That's all you need. It's, a lot of times, you,
I couldn't see it myself.
yeah, but it's like when you get to a certain point of working on something, your brain sort of adapts to like, okay, yeah, I
Yes.
see it,
Mhm.
but then when you give yourself some time, you come back to it later, or you look at it a different way,
Yes.
then it kind of, like, the light bulb goes off, oh yeah, I can push values or something. So. But yeah, it's a nice composition and nice movement, and form, you got some nice volume in the drawing itself, so.
I didn't used to do roses at all.
Just, out of principle, or
No, I wasn't able to.
you wasn't able to, okay. Well, yeah, I've watched. I'm gonna play it probably on a Monday or maybe on a Wednesday. But it was a young man who was talking about the development, and how people develop mentally, through the process of learning art. And and he was showing examples of like some of his students and some of even his own work from when he just began to now, and how it's like you go through these stages of, and this kind of applies to what we're doing right here, of when you first start drawing, tendency, people begin to look for shapes and outline. And
Yes.
and that's the very first thing that they start working with. And they have a very hard time leaving that behind and making that jump to value, right?
I
And
changed it, my major, because I wasn't crossing that line.
mhm. From and to,
Uh, I was line and shape only.
mhm. Okay, and what was your major at that time?
Art,
Okay,
I quit.
yeah, okay, and then you went to what?
History.
Oh, history, okay. Well, now, why would you quit art just because you were line and tone only? Or
No, I was
line and shape?
Line and shape.
Yeah, but why would you quit art because of that?
I couldn't do a 3D object
Mhm,
convincingly.
I see.
And everybody else seemed to be doing it.
Mhm. Well, and again, everybody's brain works differently, but think about people like Gustav Klimt, right? Now, he never worried about really rendering form. He was highly lineal and decorative. Egon Schiele, very lineal. He did, his paintings tend to be very colorful and very emotional, but very flat.
Mhm.
Okay. And, there's no right way, it's like, it's great.
I had an affinity to Gauguin.
Mhm. Yeah, post-impressionist,
Yeah.
and what were they trying to do? See, again, they weren't really trying to represent reality That was kind of that step from the more scientific approach of impressionism and breaking light down into color and how color reacts on surfaces, to, again, a step toward modernism and flattening the depth of field and more pattern and design. And so when you look at people like Gauguin, when you look at Vincent van Gogh, and a lot of the post-impressionists, so again, when you hold them up next to Monet or Degas, something like that, again, they're simplifying reality. They're moving toward that idea of abstraction. And then when you get to people like Oma Ophüls in 1900, she was totally abstract. And then so was Kandinsky.
I didn't see at that time that my art was going any place.
Yeah, but
I couldn't imagine myself being employed.
yeah, okay. Well, if your goal was to get out of college and become an illustrator, that could have been a challenge.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
but-
wasn't willing to do it.
right, okay. But if you got out of school and you became a graphic designer or a printmaker, you would have fun. See, because again, they're not trying to render forms. They're more about pattern design, scale, use of color. So, the different people gravitate, go different directions based on their strengths. And if your strength was lineal drawing, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, again, it's it's the way your brain works, the way you see things.
I could do it blind contour.
Okay.
Because I realized that on the drawing, that the line and the amount of time it took to do it were in a relationship.
Who can share? Let's just do. Oops, no, please. Okay. Who can start sharing when someone else is sharing? All right. So let's get settled back in here. We're going to do one more drawing. Okay. Now, again, we're going to go from separating line and value, and we're going to go to doing the two together. Okay. So there will be places where you want to use line. There'll be places where you only really want to use value. What is this? Zoom. Okay, yeah. Anyway, okay, are we doing this now? Sign in the Zoom. Apps. All right. So, yeah, we're actually going to draw a figure today. So professional. Good. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We have, well, we're going to take 20 minutes, even though we don't have 20 minutes. Okay. All right. So we want to use value and line. Okay. And hopefully a variety of lines. Okay. All right. So you got 20 minutes. Draw big. Use the whole page. No little tiny drawing. Okay. And this will be our last drawing for today. Okay, it's a little more in the mood we were looking for. It's a little more relaxing. I don't want to stress anybody out. So you got a whole 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Just to let you know where you're at. Being hard on them. Well, you know, one thing right now.
Street, before you get the street is not, no.
Now, come out of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaned all the way back like that. They did that sometimes. There we go. All right. How'd everybody do that?
Bigger.
I feel much more successful about that than the flower.
You were much more successful with what?
And then with the flower, I'm so used to drawing these versus the flower.
Uh-huh, yeah. Well, actually, you know, and,
House?
yes. Oh,
Thank you.
okay. Actually, I'm of the humble opinion that flowers are far more difficult than people.
I think so
I
too.
agree.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
there's a lot to
after-
a flower
after that-
that people
after
just,
that-
huh?
After that very complicated flower, this is relatively
Yeah.
uncomplicated.
Well, and the fact is, a rose, not really all that complicated. You know, get to something like a trillium or a passion flower, or, you know, any like, you know, a haliboran, okay? Much more complex. Yeah, flowers can be really difficult, okay? Or a hydrangea, for example.
Ooh.
There's something that would drive you crazy.
Yep.
So, okay. At any rate, thank you all for coming. And so that's day one. So what did we talk about? We talked about line and tone, right? And so we've kind of learned how to use line for some things and tone for others, right? So I have a homework assignment for you, okay? Now, this goes in that sketchbook that you're supposed to bring every week, right? So here's your homework assignment. I want you to get up in the morning, or you can do it in the afternoon if you want, but take an egg, put it on just a very simple, you can put it on a plate, you can put it on just like the tabletop, whatever, but put it somewhere near a window where light is coming in from one side or the other, right? And I want you to draw it. And I want you to draw it first as line. And then I want you to draw it as tone. And then I want you to draw it with the two combined. Okay, so 3 drawings over the week.
Tone.
And then combined, line and tone. Together.
Mop.
Hmm?
Mop. Throwing a mop.
No, an egg.
Egg.
An egg, yes, an egg, yes. You know, simple enough, right?
Right.
Yeah. You know, now if you want to, yeah, if you want to get really creative, you know, after you draw them in the shell, you can crack them, let them run all over the place, or you can scramble them or sunny side them and draw them, you know. Okay. But yeah, let's try it with the shell on first, okay? And in particular, and the reason that I want you to put it near a window, okay, which means that you'll have to do this sometime during the day, right? I'm trying to get you to see it as close as possible to a single light source, right? Not multiple light sources, okay? Because if you try to do it, you know, in your dining room or kitchen at night, and you're using overhead lights and a spotlight and everything else, then you got, you know, 3 or 4 different light sources all shining on that egg. And that's really gonna get confusing. So
Well,
let's,
you could do it at night with just one lamp.
well, you could, but then you would be drawing in the dark. I used to do that all the time, you know, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'd get up, paint whatever I was gonna eat that day. You know, there would be one light on in the whole place, and that was on what I was painting. And, you know, it doesn't really hurt to paint in the dark, you know, or draw in the dark, but some people have issues with that. As I've gotten older, I don't see as well in the dark as I used to.
Charles, you want us to do this at night in front of a window?
No, I said do it during the day. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, somebody was saying do it at night and just put a single light on it. But then I was saying you'd be drawing in the dark. You couldn't see what you
Okay,
were
I got
drawing. So yeah, I would do it
Okay,
during the daytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just have a table or something like right next to the window so the light's coming in, you know, and it's casting a shadow. And that way you've got one single light source that you're trying to draw, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, anybody else got any questions? Anything else? Okay, from what I understand, tomorrow, it's supposed to warm up.
Yep.
Supposed to be in the 70s out there tomorrow, so enjoy it while it lasts. Get out, go play in the sun, work on your vitamin D, go do something, go see some art, you know. Maybe take a sketch pad, do a little drawing, right? All at the same time. Anyway, thank you all for coming. We'll see you next week.
Have a good weekend.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.